The NASCAR Cup Series race has officially concluded from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and we see Kyle Larson dominate, but hold off a hard-charging Christopher Bell in a thrilling finish to lock his way into the Championship 4. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching the NASCAR Cup Series race from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the South Point 400. We have quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So for the green flag drop in today's race, Chase Elliott and Daniel Suarez would have to go to the rear for backup cars after they crashed in practice yesterday. So at the start of the race, you had Christopher Bell lead the field from the outside with Kyle Larson on the inside, and Christopher Bell got a fantastic run and was able to clear for the race lead. But then a few laps later, Kyle Larson was able to get the lead and got a fantastic run off turn 2 and was able to get the lead back from Christopher Bell. But as the run went on, Kyle Larson's car started fading on the longer run, and Christopher Bell was able to get back by Kyle Larson for the lead, and Mark Truex Jr., who was having a good run of time, would get up to second position. Then on lap 31, green flag pit stops to start happening first with Austin Dillon coming in. Then a few laps later, Kyle Larson came in. And then the next lap, Chris Buescher, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain all came down pit road. And Ross Chastain also received a speeding penalty. And then on lap 38, both Martin Truex Jr. and Christopher Bell came down pit road. And that would hand the lead right back to Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson, though, would have a massive lead after that, but he started losing a lot of ground in traffic. But then he maintained the gap after getting through the traffic. But then with 16 laps to go in stage number 1, trouble strike for Eric Jones when he lost the tire from 15th position. He got it thinking to the outside wall, and unfortunately, it was, at least at the time, cost him a shot at a really good finish. And this would be the main name of the game throughout the race. Then all the lap cars would then come down pit road with Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and Brad Keselowski all deciding to take 2 tires, including Eric on roll, while the rest leaders took off 4. Kyle Larson actually got in second and was the first guy off with 4 tires and would drop, I think, about the 5th or 6th. And then a lot of drivers took the wave around, including Austin Dillon, Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Corey LaJoie, were among the guys that took a wave around. So then on the restart, you have Christopher Bell lead the field from the inside with Kyle Larson on the outside. And Christopher Bell got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead. Then Kyle Larson, he got a great run and was able to pass Christopher Bell back for the race lead. Kyle Larson able to about 4 or 5 tenths ahead and got a pretty big lead. And coming off the final corner, he would win stage number 1. Then we saw a little strategy where Mark Truex Jr.'s teammate, I think, the call that cost him a shot at winning this race by staying out from 4th position. A very questionable call by James Small. They should have come down the road. They didn't. And then I believe a couple other guys stayed out like J.J. Elliott, Brennan Poole as well. But then you had a little strategy where Denny Hamlin, Ty Gibbs, Chris Buescher, and Justin Haley all took 2 tires, while the rest leaders took 4. So then on the restart, Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the inside with Denny Hamlin on the outside, and Mark Truex Jr. at least sold on the lead. Meanwhile, A.J. Allmendinger, he got a penalty for a restart violation for laying back. But then eventually, Mark Truex Jr. got passed by Denny Hamlin, had much better tires, 2 fresh tires, and was able to pass Mark Truex Jr. back for the race lead. And Mark Truex Jr. started fading back. Then in lap 111, trouble strike once again when Carson Oswald lost a tire from 21st position. He hit the outside wall really, really hard and spun out, and unfortunately be the first car out of the race with a ton of damage. Tough race for Carson Oswald. Had been running in the top 20. Qualified not the greatest, was moving toward the front. Unfortunately, his day would come to an end. So then, all the other cars would end up coming down pit road, with Brad Keselowski winning the race off of pit road. So then on the restart, Brad Keselowski lead the field from the outside with Kyle Larson on the inside, and Kyle Larson got a good restart and was able to clear for the lead at time, but Brad Keselowski then was able to get the lead back from Kyle Larson, and at this point, Brad Keselowski and Kyle Larson stayed 1-2 for about 15 to 20 laps. But then 20 laps later, on lap 141, Kyle Larson fell back to 5th position after getting to the outside wall, having an incredible save, getting a little bit of damage, but most drivers would overcorrect in the outside wall. Kyle Larson did not and would be able to save it, but drop back a ton of positions. Luckily for him, it wasn't much worse for Kyle Larson because Alex Bowman then, on lap 145, will wreck off a turn number 4, getting the outside wall with the tire issue and bring the caution out. Alex Bowman had one of the fastest cars at this point in this race. It's just a shame he didn't get to close it out today. Unfortunately, his day would come to an end. So then, all lead lap cars would come down pit road with Brad Keselowski win the race off pit road with 2 tires. You also have William Byron, Kyle Busch, Austin Cindric, and Kevin Harvick also take 2 tires. And Daniel Suarez had a fire in the box and was also had an uncontrolled tire. So then on the restart, you have Brad Keselowski lead the field from the inside with William Byron on the outside, and we saw Brad Keselowski and William Byron battle really, really hard for the lead, but eventually he was able to clear. Keselowski was. And then Brad Keselowski had a pretty big lead, but a few laps later, Kyle Larson jumped up to second, and then was inevitably able to pass Brad Keselowski for the lead. Ross Chastain was trying to, also who got up to the front, was trying to charge after Kyle Larson, but he fell back, and Kyle Larson was able to pull away and win stage number 2 and sweep the stages. So then all lead lap cars would then come down pit road. Cristobal winning the race off of pit road. All drivers take 4 tires except Michael McDowell on the restart, and would restart in 6th, that'd be McDowell. So then on the restart, we had Cristobal had a fantastic pit stop, lead the field from the inside with Ross Chastain on the outside, and Cristobal got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead. At this point, he had 3 or 4 cars that really were contending for the lead: Cristobal, Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, and Kyle Larson. And Chastain did everything to try to get the lead from Cristobal, but didn't have anything for him, and with 6-7 laps to go, he got out of the groove and lost a ton of positions and would drop from 2nd to 5th. At this point, you had Keselowski and those guys really trying to run down the leader, but then with 57 laps to go, caution would come out for Chase Briscoe, who spun for 25th position after losing a tire, I believe, and got on the outside wall, bringing the caution out. And I believe Stenhouse also got involved in the wreck as well. So then all lead lap cars would then come down pit road with Kyle Larson winning the race off pit road, followed by Brad Keselowski and Christopher Bell, and unfortunately Austin Dillon got a speeding penalty. So then on the next restart, you had Kyle Larson lead the field from the inside with Brad Keselowski on the outside, and Kyle Larson got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead. And then on lap 217, the final caution race to come out for Ty Gibbs, who had a wheel come off in the 4-wide battle from 12th position, will hit the outside wall and take him out of contention in this race. A loose wheel, unfortunately, that's likely going to be a 2-race penalty for a couple of the crew members, I believe. So then we go to the final restart of the race with Kyle Larson leading the field from the inside, Brad Keselowski on the outside, and Kyle Larson got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Unfortunately for Chase Elliott, he would get a penalty for laying back on the restart, very similar to AJ Allmendinger. He would get a penalty for that. And then with 28 to go, Ty gets to get a penalty for a flat right front tire. At this point, Kyle Larson had about a 2-second lead over Keselowski, but Christopher Bell was starting to charge, and he had the fastest car on the racetrack near the end of the race. And eventually, with about 20 laps to go, Cristobal is able to pass Brad Keselowski for 2nd position. And then at this point, Cristobal is making up a 10th a lap, then losing a 10th and a half a lap, then gaining a 10th to 2 tenths. As it come into 3 or 4 laps to go, Cristobal was making major inroads to getting a 10th a lap, then getting 2 tenths a lap. As it came down to the white flag, Kyle Larson had a 3/10 of a second lead over Christopher Bell. And as they went to turn number 1, Larson was able to maintain the gap. But going down the backstretch, Christopher Bell got a fantastic run. As they came into turn number 3, they almost went side by side. Larson went up to block him a little bit. Christopher Bell tried to go to the inside. They would come down the straightaway. Christopher Bell tried to get the inside. It did not work. And Kyle Larson holds off a hard-charging Christopher Bell to pick up win number 4 of the 2023 season and lock his way into the championship 4. First of all, I want to talk about that finish. An absolute thriller of a finish. Cristobal did everything he had to do to try to close. He was over 2 seconds back. That car was really, really strong today. Thought he was going to have a chance to get it done. He nearly did it, but unfortunately came up short. A good race if you ask me. A very clean ending to race if you ask me. And that was a very awesome finish. As for Kyle Larson winning, talk about that. Kyle Larson, we all know, is my favorite driver. And I'm so relieved and pumped to see that Kyle Larson is going to the championship 4. It's been an up and down year for Kyle Larson. It's been a checkers of records year. But when this team sets their foot correct, they get it done. And they also reach a milestone by being the first team in the next-gen era to lead 1,000 laps in a single season. Kyle Larson straight up had the best car in this field. Granted, Cristobal looked good at times, Keselowski was fast, but I think overall from start to finish, that 5 car was extremely good, and Kyle Larson 1,000% earned this win. And historically, the last 2 years, a driver who's won the first race at a round of 8 has gone on to win the championship, and Kyle Larson won the best cars at Phoenix earlier in the spring. I think Larson's got a really good chance to win this championship. I'm so pumped and relieved. We don't got to go to Homestead. We don't got to go Martinsville, waiting at this point pending post-race inspection. I'm so happy. Mass congratulations to Kyle Larson on picking up his 4th win of 2023. So now we're going to take a look at the race results, and I'll give you my score and thoughts on today's race. So Kyle Larson picks up the victory. Cristobal finished 2nd. I'll tell you what, Cristobal thought was going to get it done. A great day for this 20 team. They need to come in this race, need to have a very, very good run, and they had probably the 2nd or 3rd best car overall throughout this race. They got stuck behind in traffic, but they still recovered to finish 2nd. Great run for Cristobal. How about Kyle Busch finishing in 3rd place? Kyle Busch, all of a sudden, that 8 car really came out of nowhere near the end of the race, and Kyle Busch's car came in at the end and gets a very respectful 3rd place finish. Great run for this 8 team. It looks like they're trying to build toward 2024. Brad Keselowski finished 4th. Great run for Brad Keselowski. Brad had probably one of the 2 or 3 best cars in this field. That 6 car kind of faded near the end, but still finishing in 4th is really good for RFK, all things considered, considering Keselowski's been hit or miss on the mile-and-a-half tracks this year. Great run for Brad Keselowski in 4th place. Had one of the best cars in the field. Ross Chastain finished 5th. Great recovery for this team. They qualified impressively, but then they had that speeding penalty. But we knew they were going to be a threat today, and they showed a lot of pace and speed, and they finished 5th. A great run for Ross Chastain in 5th place. Ryan Blaney finished 6th. Not a bad day for Ryan Blaney. Unfortunately, did not get the points he needed today, but still finishing the top 10. Was a little worried about Blaney going this race simply because of lack of speed from this 12th team, but still, good run for Ryan Blaney, all things considered, in 6th. William Byron finished 7th, a little bit of a disappointing day. They had a top 5 car at best, never had the pace to win the race. They were about at 3rd, 4th, and best, never had a shot to win, but still a solid day, all things considered, for William Byron in 7th place. Tyler Reddick finished 8th, about the best at 45 car, ran a little disappointed in the 23-11 cars today. I thought the 23-11 cars were going to be contenders for the victory. Unfortunately, they never had a shot to win. So, though, a very solid day, all considered, for Tyler Reddick in 8th. Mark Truex Jr. finished 9th. Finally, Mark Truex Jr. gets a top 15 finish. And I'm going to be honest, Mark Truex Jr.'s team fumbled this race. They had one of the best cars in the field. Their best race all around. They made mistakes on the track, but they recovered. And they're going to have to do that if they're going to want to run for the championship. They can't have bad races. They didn't score stage points today. And they're right, I believe, on the cutoff line because of the run they had today. They got to do better, but at least they scored a top 10 finish. They're going to Homestead. Finally, at least a race. They got a top 15 at least, finally. So that's good at least. Mark Truex Jr. finishes in 9th. And Denny Hamlin finished 10th. A little disappointed. Denny Hamlin, not going to lie. I thought Denny was going to be a threat to win. Denny had led some laps, but faded on the longer run and never really ran higher than 5th the most the rest of the day, and then faded to finish in 10th. Chris Buescher finished 11th. Not a great run, not a bad run for Buescher, but didn't score any stage points, and I think it's like 30 points below the cutoff line because of that. Just kind of mediocre day for Buescher in 11th. Joe Logano finished 12th, was up front near the end, but unfortunately, car kind of faded near the end. He finishes 12th. Bubba Wallace finished 13th. Really disappointing day for Bubba Wallace considering they qualified really good and had good speed in practice. I really thought Bubba was going to be a threat to win. Unfortunately, never showed the pace or speed. At best, around a 10th to 15th place car. Just never had the pace today, which is really disappointing considering their mile-and-a-half program has historically been really, really good. Eric Almirola finished 14th. Not a bad day for Eric Almirola. We're still waiting on his future for 2024 at this point. But he ran top 15 a majority of the day, so good run for this 10 team. Daniel Suarez, decent recovery, finishes 15th. Not a bad run for him. Kevin Harvick finished 16th. Decent run for him. Michael McDowell gets a solid top 20 finish in 17th. Austin Dillon finishes 18th. Corey LaJoie finishes 19th. And Harrison Burton gets top 20 in 20th place. AJ Allmendinger recovers a little bit to finish in 21st place. Justin Haley finished 22nd. Austin Cindric, who struggles once again with Team Penske, he finishes 23rd. Ty Dillon gets a solid top 25 finish in 24th place. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished 25th. Ryan Preece finished 26th. Todd Gillen finished 27th. Eric Jones, after his issues, he finished in 28th. J.J. Elliott finishes 29th, and Brennan Poole finishes in 30th. Bijou Koff finished 31st. Chase Elliott finished 32nd. A disaster day for Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott never ran higher than 15th. Then they got the penalty that cost him a good run. They were at points and running 29th and 30th on speed. Not a good run. Probably the worst one they've had in a very, very long time, which is really disappointing considering I thought they were going to be a threat today to contend for the win. They struggled throughout traffic, and they finished in 32nd place. Chase Briscoe, after his issues, finishes 33rd. Ty Gibbs finishes 34th. Alex Bowman finishes 35th after crashing out, and Carson Osbar finishes last in 36th place. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the playoff standings after today's race at Las Vegas. So now let's go ahead and talk about the playoff standings. Kyle Larson, of course, locked in after winning today's race at Las Vegas. William Byron is 9 points above the cutoff line. Denny Hamlin is 2 points above, and Mark Truex Jr. is also 2 above. Chris Bell is 2 points below, had a fantastic run today, nearly got locked in. Tyler Reddick is 16 below, Ryan Blaney 17 below, and Chris Buescher is 23 below. At this point, Buescher's probably almost in a must-win situation. Can't have a disastrous day at Homestead. Blaney and Reddick just need to have really good runs at Homestead to close on the gap, and Bell in a very good position to have a chance to make it, especially in Martinsville and Homestead, 2 good tracks for him historically. Truex, not a great day for him, but he moves back above the cutoff line. Denny Hamlin didn't have a fantastic day either, is only 2 above, and William Byron's 9 above. Byron with a little bit of disappointing day, cuts the gap just a little bit. So now we're going to talk about the overall race as a whole, and I'll give you my score and thoughts on today's race. This, in my opinion, was way better than the spring race. I thought the spring race was a little bit boring, if I'm going to be honest. There were good moments for sure in the spring race, but it wasn't the most exciting. Today's race was very, very entertaining. multiple groups. Stage 1 was a little bit mundane, I'm going to be honest, but you have that good battle between Bell and Larson in the middle of Stage 1, and then you had a pretty good battle at the end of Stage 1 as well. And then Stage 2, the racing was awesome. You had a really good racing throughout the field, a lot of side-by-side, a lot of comers and goers. And then Stage 3, you got a very, very good run going. Larson had a big lead, but then Bell was closing in, and that was really entertaining. And he got a very, very good finish at the end. My score of today's NASCAR Cup Series race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, I'm going to give this race overall an 8.8 out of 10. A very solid race overall, if you ask me, way better than the spring. I absolutely enjoyed it. I'm giving it an 8.8 out of 10. So, that is going to be today's NASCAR Cup Series race review from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's race. What are your thoughts on today's race at Las Vegas? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below. And congratulate Kyle Larson on locking his way into the Championship 4 with the win in Las Vegas. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, there could be 2 videos going up. There will be an update video in regards to the future of this channel over the next 2 weeks, dropping in the morning, and then later in the afternoon, there should be the truck race picks for Homestead. Then on Tuesday, we'll probably have the Xfinity Series race picks for Homestead, and probably we'll also maybe have a 2026 driver lineup prediction or something like that along those lines. Wednesday, there should be a NASCAR news video. Thursday should be race picks for the Cup race at Homestead, and then on Friday, we should have another NASCAR news video dropping on the channel. Got a lot of great content dropping on the channel that I cannot wait for you guys to check out. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.